All right, we got Bill Hillgrove coming up in a moment. In fact, you want to go to him now?
Sure.
All right. Hello, Bill. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm ready. Snap the ball.
All right, there you go. All set to go. Undefeated Philadelphia and Pittsburgh coming in. Bill, the last two games, what have you seen from the Steelers' defense that really has made a difference in how they've played?
Well, I think there are fewer gash plays, and I think that's a good thing, especially the long runs. And I think with the amount of people who have returned from, the disabled list or injury list, I really think that, there's hope there. And I'll tell you what, even the young guys that had to sub for the injured guys against the Buccaneers, they played pretty well. They played their butts off. So I'm a bit encouraged by what I've seen recently. I just think that the offense has to pick it up and quit turning the ball over. And that having been said, Kenny's first interception in Miami, that should have been a PI. The guy was behind him. The guy never turned around. The guy put his hand on his waist and then clipped his heels. And I'm sure it was intentional, but it wasn't called, and you got to live with that. But that having been said, Steelers dropped 4 interceptions.
Right, they did. Now the last one, that's just a rookie and a veteran baiting him. And that happens. I mean, the last interception,
absolutely. If Kenny
got
had it
baited
back,
into that.
He'd probably run. But, it's growing pains. You have to live with it. It's tough to say, but, this team is retooling because Ben spoiled us for 18 years.
Absolutely. It would really help, though, and it helps any young quarterback if they can have a running game around them. What hasn't been working there, Bill?
Well, Najee doesn't look like the Najee I saw last year. I don't know if he's not hitting the hole quickly enough. I don't know that he's trusting his linemen well enough. But, the ground game is just simply, it's basically stagnant. And until that changes, they're going to have to use the pass to try to win games. And, Miami sat around and asked to be beat, and we just didn't do it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know that Philly will do the same thing. I think this is a different animal. And, they're coming off a bye. Steelers haven't done well in Philly, haven't won a game there since Roosevelt was in office, Teddy. But, I'm encouraged. I just think wide receivers have to help Kenny more. I think he depends on Freiermuth. He depends on Pickens. They have good rapport. I just think that Deontay and Claypool have to probably do a better job of helping him. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you, Bill, because you and I both know if when a coach makes a decision on a player, it's about trust. And when a quarterback makes a decision on who to throw to, it's about trust. And you have to earn the trust. And Freiermuth and Pickens, it looks to me like have earned his trust.
No doubt. And then people say, well, why don't they throw to him more? Well, the worst thing you could do is lock in on a receiver. You do that in that league, and the ball's going to go the other way more often than not. So he, just has to keep working at the progressions, and I think the receivers have to do a better job of the routes and the depth of the routes, and maybe it'll click, and maybe we can pull a surprise on somebody.
Well, I'm looking at what they've done defensively. The last two games, they've kept them in the game, and they won the game against Tampa Bay, and they've done it without T.J. Watt. You talked about other guys stepping up, which has been really important. How impressive you've been in the last two games? By the way, some people have stepped up.
I have been impressed. And I like the schemes that they've done, especially against Tampa Bay. They had Robert Spillane all over the place. I mean, he was a part-time linebacker, safety, and I really think that, Terrell Austin will do a good job of maximizing their opportunities to win. No T.J. Watt, they're last in pressures in the league, and I'd like to see that change. But, if Highsmith is your best pass rusher, they're going to pay attention to him. They're going to pay attention to Cam, and the help has to come from other places.
Yeah, no question about that. but they've been able to keep the score in a range where it gives the offense a chance. I do want to ask about Trubisky. When Kenny did get hurt against Tampa, he came in and directed a drive that put a touchdown on the board. What kind of pro did he show that he is in that moment? Because obviously anybody's disappointed they're not starting.
He cut it loose, and that's what we wanted him to do when he was a starter. And for whatever reason, and you can talk about Matt Canada, and you can talk about, what the game plans were, but, I appreciate the fact that he cut it loose. But for those who want to bench Kenny, and I'll go back to Mitch, the question is he going to be of a mind to cut it loose? He was put in an untenable position. Here's your job not to lose. I don't know if anybody said that, but that's the way the situation seemed to be progressing. And I think he reacted that way. I'm not going to lose this. I'm not going to. Well, if you play not to lose, that's what's going to happen. And so, I admire Mitch. And he's kept his mouth shut, and he's done everything they've asked him to do. And believe me, for a veteran and a guy who was the second pick in the draft to take a back seat to a rookie, it's not easy, and I tip my hat to him.
A lot of teams are playing the cover two high safeties, Bill. They're trying to make people, no matter what game it is, go 10, 12 plays to try and get their score. Or if they're going to go 10, 12 plays, then shorten the field up in the red zone. What's that been like for you to watch? Because the game has been so freewheeling the last few years. It doesn't feel so freewheeling across the league this year. Is that your impression as well?
Yeah, that's kind of it. And often, defenses will come up with a wrinkle, and it takes offenses time to adjust to it. And I remember John Mitchell at camp one year yelling to his defense and his defensive line, "Hey, give him that little junk play." Because if you give them a whole bunch of those, they're going to fumble at some. They're going to make a mistake.
Right.
It's almost impossible, even for the best offenses, to constantly put together 12 to 14 play drives because they're going to make a mistake. So the answer to that is more splash plays, so the drives aren't as extended.
Bill, I look at it this way: you're 1-1 the last two. So there you go. And so good luck on Sunday when they get the Eagles.
I think the bye's coming at a very good time.
Yeah, it probably is. But, Bill, go ahead.
TJ Watt, hurry up. TJ,
yes.
Hurry up.
Yeah, please, hurry up. It would be great. Bill, thanks so much. Appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure.